Anytime you're ready, we can get going officially.
I'm fine. I don't know the Pledge of Allegiance for this. Oh, we have it. We have our flag. So if we're going to do, and if we forego the Pledge of Allegiance for the webinar, I think we can just go right into the program.
Okay. So would you mind me starting?
Please.
Okay. Thank you, President Weed. So for all the members of the public that are joining us this evening, I hope everybody can hear me. Thumbs up. Okay, great. Thank you. My name is Robert Shaver, and I am the Water District's General Manager. And because we do have 3 board members joining us this evening, we are generally following what would be our normal board meeting agenda. And Gina, would you please take roll call?
Directors Weed.
Here.
Gunther.
Here.
Huang. Sethi. And Acwd.
Okay, we have a quorum, so we have an official meeting.
Correct.
Manager Shaver, you may take it from here.
Thank you very much. And because this is a special board meeting of the Alameda County Water District Board of Directors, we do have to provide an opportunity for members of the public to speak before we get into the program. But I would ask that you hold on to your comments until after I do a little housekeeping. And so I will do that now. And welcome you all on behalf of the Board of Directors to this public meeting. And I would like our board members to raise their hands and introduce themselves so that you can see them. Director Gunther is joining us. Jim?
Hello, Director Gunther.
Director Wong?
Hello, good evening.
And Vice President Director Wee.
Good evening, everyone. I know we have 41 participants at this time. So thank you for coming to the meeting.
Thank you, Director Weed. So we're going to start with a formal presentation from the project team, who I should say are very excited about the district's investment in the future through advanced metering infrastructure, or AMI. And that presentation will take about 25 minutes, and then we'll answer questions after the presentation. Members of the public may participate in this meeting either by Zoom or by telephone. And a little bit of housekeeping: if you're participating by Zoom, you can follow along with our slideshow as it's presented by our team. At any time, you may submit your questions by clicking on the Q&A icon on your Zoom toolbar, which should be on the bottom of your screen. If you would prefer to ask your questions out loud, there will be an opportunity to raise your hand after the presentation and after we take on some of the questions by clicking the raise hand button, which looks like a little hand, and it's also at the bottom of your Zoom toolbar. The district secretary will call on folks who are raising their hands one at a time and unmute participants at the appropriate time, so everybody will hopefully have a chance to ask their questions. And we'll try to alternate between written questions dropped into the Q&A and raised hand questions. For those who are participating using a telephone, please refrain from making comments until you're prompted by the district secretary or the project team. And unless you're speaking, please put your phone on mute so it doesn't interfere with the sound quality. If you're using Zoom and phone at the same time, there can be weird echo and feedback loops, so please pay attention to that. And the presentation slides are located on the district's website at www.acwd.org/AMI. So you can follow along that way if you're participating by phone and you have access to a computer screen. And I understand you can press *6 to get our attention if you want to ask a question later. If we're unable for some reason to get to everybody's questions during this meeting, We will be sure to include answers to any submitted questions in our meeting minutes, and they're available at the district's website once they're posted, which is only usually a few days after the meeting at www.acwd.org. Your feedback and questions are important to us, and we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to be heard and to get your questions answered. The Zoom webinar will also be recorded and made accessible to the public for future viewing, again at the district's acwd.org/AMI website. So now that we've gotten the housekeeping out of the way, thank you for bearing with me, I'd like to say a few words about the project. So number one, over the years, I've heard from many ACWD customers that they wish that they had access to additional information and tools to manage their water use. And as a result, save money too. And as you'll see, our AMI project is going to empower you to be in control because you're going to have access to a lot more information than you do now and tools that hopefully you find beneficial. Currently, most customers only receive their water bills once every 2 months. And so you really only get a data point of how much water you've consumed once every 2 months. Now you'll have almost instantaneous access to that information. And then I also wanted to mention that this project, AMI, is good for conservation. And ACWD is committed to water use efficiency and conservation as a way of life in California. Why? There's a few reasons. Number one, conservation is good for the environment because it results in less water being taken from our streams and rivers. And it saves energy and greenhouse gas emissions because we have to do less pumping with less water demand. Number two, conservation is good for ACWD's finances in the long term because with less water demand, we don't need to make as many costly capital investments in new water supplies and additional related infrastructure. And then number three, and lastly, conservation is good for your wallet. Since ACWD only charges for the cost of service that we provide to you, the community, over the long run, conservation savings do get passed on to you because as a public agency, ACWD does not make a profit. So as you'll see, AMI checks all of these boxes. It will enhance our current conservation programs, improve our customer service, and it will increase our overall operational efficiency, thus reducing costs over the long term. By the way, be sure to check out www.acwd.org for all of our education, rebates, and other available conservation programs. I have recently taken advantage of the Smart Irrigation Program because I live in the service area and received a nice rebate for a controller. And it's a pretty sweet deal. So ACWD staff and our partners are working hard to ensure a smooth rollout of this exciting new program, which touches every customer in the service area. So please don't be shy. If you have questions or concerns, please present them to us because our project team is dying to respond to any concerns that you have. And I bet others probably have those same questions. So now I'd like to introduce Benjamin Egger. He's our project manager, and he will introduce you to the rest of the team, and you'll learn everything you need to know about our AMI program. Thank you for listening. Ben?
Thank you, Mr. Shaver. Good evening, members of the public and members of the board, Vice President Weed and Directors Wong and Gunther. My name is Ben Egger. I'm the district's project manager for the AMI project. One last housekeeping item, I'm not sure if it came up or not, but it's in the top right-hand corner of my first slide here, that we are recording this presentation, so we'll make that recording available on our website also for folks that weren't able to attend tonight. But thank you for making time for us, for those that are in attendance in your schedule this evening to learn about this program. The district is very excited and proud to be sharing the details regarding this project with you all tonight. And what you'll hear is that while the district has put a lot of thought into the many aspects of planning this program, More than anything, we want this to be a positive experience for our customers during deployment and beyond through the addition of these services that we can include in your water connection. And as we strive to serve our community as best we possibly can. So co-presenting with me tonight, you've met Mr. Shaver, Robert Shaver. Also from the district presenting will be Shireen Gonzalez. She's our public affairs supervisor here at the district. And then some of our partners in this AMI undertaking this program, Don Schuler, the project manager for Professional Meters Inc., PMI, Mark Jermscheid, project manager for EMA, and Jennifer Rittman, project manager from Badger Meter. Also present tonight are a number of other members of ACWD staff supporting the project. So we'll move on to the next slide. And right, so the agenda is basically a who, what, where, why to help explain our AMI program. And I'm going to use some acronyms. I apologize throughout this presentation, but AMI is Advanced Metering Infrastructure. We'll help explain what that is through this presentation. But AMI is a positive step forward in our metering technology. AMI will allow the district to enhance our own operational efficiencies, our customer service, and provide additional services to our customers related to your water connection. So you'll hear about why AMI through the slide deck. We'll spend some time discussing how through the planned upgrade of your meter, AMI will benefit you, such as being able to provide you a deeper understanding of your water consumption, support you in your water use efficiency efforts, and help you identify water leaks that may occur from time to time. So you'll also hear about how AMI will benefit you. And then lastly, we'll be sharing some details regarding when it is happening and what you need to know about the planned meter upgrade at your location, which will include initially 3,300 installation locations in the Warm Springs and New Park Mall areas, followed by full deployment across the service area. And then we'll be sure to have some time for Q&A at the end. Okay, next slide. All right, so I'm going to start with a quick detour and touch on how we perform meter reading today. So the numbers you see on your water bill today are the result of in-person manual water meter readings, which I personally always find pretty impressive. It's a large ongoing undertaking to walk the entire service area every 60 days and collect approximately 86,000 reads. And while that's an impressive effort, that bill you receive every 60 days is currently the only way you'll know how much water you're using. This limitation makes it difficult to spot water leaks and manage your water consumption. We understand that this is not helpful for your water conservation efforts and is definitely a driver for why we're upgrading our metering system. Okay, next slide. All right, managing and conserving our water resources is a major objective of ACWD. And we know that our customers share that conservation effort. We applaud you for all your commitment to that effort. When we surveyed a number of our customers, we found that more than 3/4 of our residential customers have made behavior changes in the past 5 years to better conserve water. ACWD offers conservation programs to support customer conservation efforts, but what we've heard residential customers request is the most is a way to monitor their water usage. And so now we can provide one through AMI. At the same time, we can perform a needed refresh of our aging population of installed water meters. Next slide. And so, welcome to your smart water connection. ACWD is investing in the future of our community with AMI, so we can read your water meters remotely and frequently and making your water usage information readily accessible and put it to work for you. Our goal through the AMI is to enhance customer service, enhance water use efficiency opportunities, and enhance our own operational efficiency. So at this point, I'll hand it over to Mark from EMA, our professional services partner with a long history of experience in executing AMI projects, to discuss technical details of our advanced metering technology. Mark, I'll hand it over to you.
All right, thank you, Ben. AMI is your smart water connection. AMI allows water meters to be read remotely so that you can reduce surprise water bills. Bills will be based on the data you see in the new customer portal called My Smart Water Connect, rolling out later this year at acwd.org. And we'll talk more about that in a bit. Detect potential leaks early. The customer portal will process your consumption through algorithms designed to detect leaks. The customer portal will then send leak alerts in your favorite communication method, which can be set in your profile on the customer portal, where you can also view up-to-date water usage. Your water meter readings will now be automated. Meters will be read remotely, which is an advancement from the current manual reading process. The system will measure, collect, and analyze water usage to look for leaks and trends and to help forecast water demand for the future. The system provides an increased frequency of meter readings in 15-minute increments, which is an improvement from the current single reading every 60 days. The customer portal will allow you to monitor your water consumption on a regular basis, and as we've mentioned, leak alerts are coming. AMI is a leap forward in delivering ACWD's services to our customers. So now let's talk about AMI technology. AMI technology employs a device that utilizes the cellular network, just like your mobile phone. This technology allows meters to be read remotely and securely. Hundreds of water utilities across North America and many in the Bay Area have adopted AMI technology for their water meter infrastructure needs. There are a lot of technology acronyms on this page, so I want to talk through them so everyone can understand what we're talking about. So as we've mentioned previously, AMI is an acronym that stands for Advanced Metering Infrastructure. Clearly, we're talking about water meters here, but what is meant by advanced infrastructure? The advanced infrastructure starts with a little transmitter in the meter pit that is connected to the water meter. This connection allows readings from the meters to be passed through the transmitter to the cellular network, and through the cellular network to the data servers that store the consumption information. When the data is sent to the cellular network, it contains meter reading data and alerts that will be important for the management of the meters. There's no customer information at the meter, so there's no customer data sent from the meter. Data is sent from the transmitter up to 4 times per day, communicating through the network for a total of seconds per day. The data is encrypted before it gets to the cellular network and takes advantage of cellular security, which is actually more secure than your standard Wi-Fi or hotspots. The AMI servers house the meter reading data and alert data for use by the district for billing, meter management, and to provide leak alert data. You can see how the AMI servers connect to the billing system, but it also connects to the customer portal, which again is called My Smart Water Connect. Ben will talk about My Smart Water Connect in a moment. Ben?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Okay, and so in these opening slides, we provide a little context about what AMI is, but we'll turn our attention to why AMI, and then I will also talk about the customer portal in the next slide. But in a nutshell, AMI is an important component of a number of district strategic goals. We plan our water supply reliability in advance. Water reliability is baked right into our mission statement. And through AMI, the district hopes to navigate droughts better together, continue our water use efficiency together, and provide another tool to continue our history of providing a reliable supply of water. Together, through the use of this smart technology, we can work towards achieving the district's water conservation goals and continue to secure our water supply reliability for our community. Okay, so to the customer portal. As you heard from Mark, there's the physical infrastructure upgrade components of an advanced metering project to upgrade each of the meters. But later this year, we'll also be launching our new online My Smart Water Connect portal, both a web version and an app, providing each customer with safe, secure access to their consumption data. Early detection of potential leaks, all in the same place. You can update your account information and view and pay bills online. It'll be somewhat of a one-stop shop. We're also developing Smart Water Connect to provide easy access to conservation tools and programs too. Tools that can encourage water use efficiency, understand your water usage on a daily basis, view water efficiency tips via the new customer portal, and find out about ACWD's water conservation programs and apply for them through the new online portal. The last bullet point here isn't a perfect fit. My apologies for that, but we want to provide a note. We wanted to provide a note to the environmental conservation benefits of AMI, and by reducing truck rolls, taking cars off the road, which inherently comes with some additional safety benefits, the district can reduce its carbon footprint too. Okay, next slide. So in summary, why AMI? We've deliberately and intentionally developed out and designed our AMI advanced metering project to help customers identify leaks, provide conservation support, and provide a convenient and easy access online portal, while also on the other side of the equation, enhancing our own operational efficiencies. So before we move on to the where and when do the installations start, I just quickly wanted to touch on the business case for AMI. Of course, an undertaking like this is not free. However, we've closely analyzed the financial implications of AMI and developed a detailed business case specific to the advanced metering project. This is a large investment by the district back into our community, but we're happy to report that the project has both a positive return on investment and a 10-year payback period, in addition to a lot of the softer community and societal benefits we've touched on. A couple of folks may be thinking, I get why AMI, but why now? We've been aware of AMI technology for a long time and aware that AMI has a number of benefits, but also the associated costs. So in 2017, the district commenced an effort to do a deep dive into those business drivers and benefits. So our enthusiasm for bringing you those benefits has been high for a while now. We also have an aging installed meter base that is approaching the end of life, resulting in the need to do something. And just as I mentioned, the finances make sense. The project pays for itself and has a positive ROI. That means that AMI can potentially reduce pressure on future rate increases. We've also had some time to program into the project into the district CIP budget. Okay, next slide. Right, so where and when will the installation start? In the next few slides, we'll discuss more specifics about the first batch of meter upgrades that'll occur in the New Park Mall area and the Warm Springs area that you can see on the map there. Next slide. So the first batch of installations, there's 3,300 locations that will be receiving their meter upgrade starting March 30th of this month. This batch of upgrades will take a little over 2 months to complete. If you received a letter in the mail from us inviting you to this meeting and announcing the commencement of meter upgrades in your area, then you're in this group. But we'll have some more detail about that on slide 18. We're very confident in the AMI technology and planning work we've performed and the planning work that we've performed to date. But this first batch of upgrades will also allow us to demonstrate some of those planning efforts, to demonstrate proper operation of the system, to test our new business processes that we've designed functioning as planned, and allow us to ramp up to ensure the district is absorbing that change correctly. Following the upgrades in these two areas, we anticipate proceeding to deployment at each of the remaining customer locations until all approximately 86,000 connections are upgraded. This will take about 30 months, and we'll be actively upgrading about 6 areas at a time following this first batch. For those customers that may be on the call that are not in this initial first batch of 3,300 locations, please note that we'll be providing similar information and providing additional informational meetings similar to this during the remaining deployment period. All of the meter upgrade work has been sequenced with our customers' billing cycles to mitigate any interruption for when you typically anticipate to receive your bill. So our installation team will move through the service area in that fashion based on billing cycle, not geographically east to west or city by city. Okay, next slide. And so we've partnered with Badger Meter and PMI to perform the meter upgrade work. PMI is a specialist meter installation contractor who have performed hundreds of meter upgrade projects equating to millions of meters. So at this point, I'll hand it over to Don to discuss what to expect regarding installation details and his installation team.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Don.
I'm Don Schuler with Professional Meters. Professional Meters has been installing meters in the California and Bay Area for quite some time. You will be easily able to identify our installation team with our recognizable high visibility uniforms with project logos, our marked vehicles with project and PMI logos, and installer identifications. Our installation vehicles consist mostly of white late model minivans, and all vehicles will be marked with PMI and ACWD project logos. Our teams will be following CDC, state, and local guidelines, including daily health and temperature checks, maintaining social distancing, and wearing proper PPE, including face masks to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Next slide. As you can see in this image, our installation uniforms are highly visible and marked with the ACWD project logo. All of our installers are going to be wearing hard card ACWD contractor ID badges to easily verify their identity. Next slide. As we'll discuss a little bit more in detail, PMI will be delivering a door hanger up to 5 days prior to the installation. Prior to the actual installation, our installers are going to knock on the door, make their presence known. You can make this process as quick as possible. To make it as quick as possible, please make sure that the area surrounding the meter box is clear of any obstructions or anything that prevents our installers from accessing the meter. Installation is generally going to take less than an hour unless it's otherwise arranged. In most cases, it'll be less than 30 minutes. If you have a tenant or others living at your premise, please notify them that the meter is going to be replaced soon and that a door hanger will be replaced prior to the actual installation. All of our installers are going to carry an installer letter verifying that PMI is an ACWD water meter installer that's authorized to upgrade your meter. These letters have been translated to several different languages to accommodate your diverse community. If our installers are not able to complete the installation, they'll leave a door hanger notice and explain why we were unable to complete the installation. Next slide. And then Mark.
We've also partnered with Utility Partners of America to inspect a percentage of the installations to ensure that they meet our quality standards. There's a quality assurance technician assigned, assuring quality installations for the duration of the project, which is scheduled to finish up by the end of 2023. If you happen to see the technician, his truck will contain the graphic you can see here, and he will carry a badge and a letter showing his authorization to work on the project in multiple languages. As Don mentioned previously, all field technicians will follow CDC, state, and local guidelines. Shireen?
Thank you, Mark. So as you've heard, this project is a significant investment for the district with community-wide benefits. And we know that it is important to communicate early and often about AMI. In fact, AMI messaging began quite some time ago, and we've had articles in the ACWD Aqueduct newsletter, ads in the Tri-City Voice, issued a news release, and multiple postings on social media. We also know the importance of that one-on-one communication with our customers. So how will you know what's happening? We'll notify you. So check your mail. Customers who will be the first to receive the AMI technology should have already received a letter from us about it. If not, you'll get a letter when your time comes, and that'll be a couple of weeks before your scheduled installation. Next, check your door. You will receive a notice on your door about 5 days before the work is scheduled to begin. You'll get another notice on your door if we are unable to access your meter and need your assistance. Once the work is complete, we'll put another notice on your door to let you know that it's done. Next slide. So we'd like to know what you think. Your feedback matters to us. Once your water meter is upgraded or replaced, please take our short survey. It should take 2 to 3 minutes, and it will be helpful to let us know about the installation process. Your responses will help make our community better by aiding us to ensure all future installations go as smoothly as possible. So you can access the survey by holding your smartphone or your tablet's camera over the QR code that's featured here, or by visiting the project website, acwd.org/AMI. And you will also receive a notice on your door once the installation is complete with the QR code to easily access the survey. So we want you to follow the progress. Follow our installation journey on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter. We just launched Instagram earlier this month. You can follow us at AlamedaCountyWD, along with postings on Nextdoor, where we will provide real-time updates using the hashtag SmartWaterConnect. Also, we serve 357,000 people in the Tri-Cities, and we know that getting the message across about the AMI project is critical, and we are looking to our stakeholders to help us share that message. So if you'd like a presentation, let us know. We'd be happy to provide one to your organization, and you can contact us at acwd.org/AMI. And Ben?
Yeah, thanks, Shireen. Okay, so we will see you all soon. Some a little sooner than others, but together we're looking forward to achieving great things. Continue our water conservation efforts and our water supply reliability for ourselves and our community. We're looking forward to beginning the installation process at the end of the month and starting to deliver these benefits to our community. Most notably, reducing surprise water bills, detecting potential water leaks early, and viewing up-to-date water usage. And so I wanted to thank you once again for attending tonight. We truly appreciate you taking time out of your evening to spend it with us. Hopefully you found this presentation informative and beneficial. This ends our presentation for the night. I believe Shireen provided some methods to keep in touch with the project and get in touch with us. However, I also wanted to highlight that we've uploaded some useful resources, reading materials, FAQs, frequently asked questions, etc., to our project website. I think with acwd.org/AMI. You may have seen that on a couple of slides now. And we'll continue to provide updates to that location throughout the project. So with that, we'll open the floor for questions. And Shireen, over to you. I think you're going to MC the questions.
Sure. So we've been monitoring the Q&A, and some questions were entered in chat as well. So, and I believe Gina is monitoring if there are any hands raised. So we'll just go ahead and start with the first question that was entered into the Q&A. And this is from Handi. Hello, will the AMI be available for both residential and commercial customers, and will have an impact on the cost?
Yeah, Great question. So yes, we are planning to upgrade all meter connections, all customer connections, so all 86,000 connections, both residential and commercial. And there's no additional cost to customers for the upgrade of your meter. The AMI improvements have been fully budgeted in the district's capital improvement program and long-term financial plan. So there will not be an additional cost for the upgrade.
Great. Thank you, Ben. So we have another question coming through the Q&A. Thank you for the presentation. Very excited about AMI. Do the new meters need a power source? And if so, how are they powered?
Right, yeah, the meters do not need a power source. As Mark mentioned, they use cellular communication, so there's no wiring required for communication. And the devices are battery powered, so there's no connection required to PG&E or power utility, and certainly not your own power source at your house. So those batteries are designed to last the full life of the infrastructure, which is 20 years.
Okay, we have another question coming in. This came in through the chat, so I'm just going to follow the time sequence. When meters are changed, is it likely that debris will get into the main line downstream from the meter?
Right. In short, no, but I'll ask Don to jump in because his team will be doing the actual installation work. Yeah, they have an installation process, but certainly the meter installation will be hygienic, and there won't be any debris entered into the meter.
We're expecting to clean the meter pits below so that no dirt or debris is near the connections. And also we flush the lines before, when we're in the process of turning the water back on, we try to flush the lines out, make sure no dirt or debris enters the line. So in very rare circumstances, you might have a few, very little, anything really, maybe debris that was already lodged in the line, but shouldn't affect anything. The worst you'll see maybe is when you turn the water back on is maybe an air pocket or something that passes through the line.
Great, thank you, Don. Another question came in through the Q&A. If there are separate water meters for landscaping, will those also be included in the AMI project?
Yes, correct. Yeah, every connection, every connection is metered, and every meter will be upgraded. And again, we'll be going through the upgrades in a billing cycle sort of approach, so sequenced by billing cycle.
Another question that came in through the chat, will these new meters be more accurate in measuring flow? If so, should customers expect possibly higher use shown even with use as normal?
Right, yeah, good question. First of all, there's no additional cost for customers for upgrading the meters, so there's no cost associated with that. The project's been fully budgeted. But since we're upgrading meters, in some locations, we're performing needed upgrades to aged meters that are coming to the end of their useful life. So it is possible that some customers' meters are currently under registering water usage if they're particularly old. So at those locations where we're replacing a meter whether we're replacing it with or without AMI, replacing an old meter for a new meter, there is an accuracy disparity between an old meter that maybe not be as accurate as a brand new out of the box meter. However, yeah, please know and be rest assured that we're only installing approved meters that meet the national industry AWWA, the American Water Works Association standards that are adopted by all water utilities across the nation.
Okay, Ben, another question that came in through the Q&A. The current timeline shows installations happening from March 2021 to December 2023. Is there somewhere I can look up when I can expect installation at my house?
Right, yes. So we are, as part of our customer portal release later in the year, hoping to have a mapping feature that will help show where Don's team is and where they're going to be in the near future. That is not being released yet, but for right now, the way you would know whether the meter upgrade is happening at your location would be the way that we described, which is through the letter. You'll receive a letter weeks in advance of the meter upgrade, and then 5 days in advance you would receive a door hanger. So those folks, that first group of 3,300 locations, customers, you should have received that letter, which would have been included an invite to this meeting tonight.
Okay, another question that came in through the chat. Is there any plans to tie closer monitoring with water budgets and possibly tiered water rates for exceeding budgets?
So I think I can answer that one, Shireen, unless you would like to, Ben.
It's all you.
So over the years, the board of directors has sort of deliberated on whether or when the district might look at its water rate structure. Currently, the district uses a uniform rate structure. So what that means is the first unit of water costs the same as the 100th unit in any particular billing cycle. The board has considered moving towards tiered rates so that users that are using much higher than what would be considered, normal may go into higher tiers to further encourage conservation. There are agencies that also use a water budget approach. And the way that works is depending on your landscaped area, as well as how many people might be living in a household for residential purposes, you would receive a certain amount of budgeted water. And if you go over that, then the cost of that additional incremental usage is higher. To date, the board has not adopted any of those other rate structures, and we stay at the uniform rate. However, at some future time, the board may consider moving to a different rate structure. And if it chooses to evaluate that, then there would be a lot of notification to the community and invitations to participate in the process. So it's a great question. And the quick answer is there are no plans to use anything but the current uniform rate structure at this time. But obviously, having an AMI functionality capability does allow the board to consider future rate structures at a future time.
Thank you, Bob. And let's see, we have one more question that I'm seeing that came through the Q&A. Would the dashboard be able to provide information on how we can use water compared to similar facilities in the district? Will there be an expected water use benchmark?
Okay, yeah, great question. Hopefully Bob addressed your question about expected water use benchmark. But as far as the customer portal, that we're planning to release later today, later this year, yes, there will be functionality that will help you understand your water usage compared to similar facilities or similar residents to yourself. So there'll be some algorithms built into that, some intelligence built into that dashboard.
Yeah, and just adding a little bit to that point about a water use benchmark, the district already, especially for large landscape customers, offers a service to do a water budget audit in which we notify customers based on this particular landscaping in this area and the weather patterns that we've seen, you should fall into about this water consumption. And we alert those customers as part of our conservation program if they are, sort of out of compliance relative to the budget. There's no fees other than the higher water bill that they receive, but it's a service that we provide to, like I said, those customers with large landscaped areas. The AMI project, though, will potentially allow us to expand that program. So one of the functionalities, as was mentioned earlier by staff, is you can use the app and receive alerts. For example, if you have a water leak, if you have a continuous use of water over a 24-hour period, the algorithm in the system knows that this isn't normal, and you could receive a notification on your phone that says, hey, it looks like you might have an issue. I envision in the future that we expand sort of the water budget framework to also notify customers, hey, it looks like your water use is above normal, and you may want to look into how you're using your water use, because we're seeing things that don't appear to be normal water use. So anyway, I think there is some potential there in the future as a customer service enhancement.
Thank you, Bob. I'm not seeing any other questions through the Q&A or chat. Is there any other questions? Or if there are any hands raised, Gina, I'm not seeing any.
I'm not seeing either.
Ms. Gonzalez, I believe we have at least 2 members of the public on the phone, and they are muted, so I don't think they could ask questions.
Gina, did we provide guidance at the beginning if there was interest in asking a question to star, I believe it's star 6?
Yes, that's correct. Star 6.
So if there are members of the public on the phone who would like to ask a question, you can press star 6.
Or just speak up.
Let's see, no questions came through the chat. Another question did come through the Q&A. How will the ACWD staff use AMI reports they need to do?
Right. Yeah. So as you can imagine, with this new AMI data, there's a lot more information that we have about how our customers use water. So that'll be very useful for our own operational efficiencies in helping us guide that. So things like conservation programs, when we were talking about that, having information and aggregating some of this information will help us design conservation programs as effectively as we can. It'll also give us information about the health of meters in the field, as well as leak alerts and things like that. So yes, there will be some capability for reporting on the data for the district's use. But I do want to touch on that there's no, this is for the district's use only. Your data will be secured and private and available only to the account holder of that account through the portal. And so in the same way that we treat customer information and billing information today with the highest level of privacy, then that will continue. Of course, nothing will change in the way that we handle that data through AMI.
Yeah. And just adding to what Ben just said, the state of California is going to require reporting regarding water system leaks as part of the state's overall conservation efforts. So that's always been very challenging when, you read basically 85,000 meters over a 60-day period. And we're always changing our water production day to day to meet demand. So to do sort of that true up and to determine, okay, this is how much water we produced, this is how much we used, but we don't have instantaneous data on that, so that you can kind of see what the delta is and see, okay, do we have any leaks in the system? This project is really going to help for that particular effort.
Okay, we have a couple of more questions. Another question came in, speaking of reporting. Marty asks, can you be more specific about the use of AMI for regulatory reports such as DWR, water conservation, and water loss reporting?
I think I just spoke about the water loss reporting report. Other regulatory reports, I'm not, unless somebody from staff has something in mind on what that might be, I'm not thinking of it right now. Maybe Marty can indicate what other reports he might be thinking of.
Yeah, and this is Ed Stevenson, Manager of Engineering and Technology. I think it also would help us in the event of a drought when the state has specific water use limitations and reporting requirements. This kind of data really helps to satisfy those types of regulatory requirements, because we have much better resolution on water usage.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. And we had one more question come through the chat. Can a landscape contractor get approval from a customer to access alerts and water use?
Right, yeah, through the customer portal that we're planning to release, you'll be able to export your data to Excel. There'll be that functionality built in that you'd be able to share. I probably don't want to recommend that people share their login with people. I think that would be a choice that you could make, I guess. But as far as third parties accessing the data, I think that would be a customer's decision. We're certainly not going to share your data with someone else without your permission, that's for sure.
I know we have just a few minutes left. A couple of more questions came through. How frequent will the data be?
Right, so the AMI system itself will collect meter readings every 15 minutes, but then it will report those back to the database that houses all that data up to 4 times a day. I think just once a day on the weekend, but 4 times a day during the week. So yeah, hopefully that answers that question.
And we have one more that came through. Also, how will AMI help with drought emergency restrictions, specifically when severe restriction stages have to be imposed?
We certainly identified in our business drivers that that this is a potential future use. You know, we identified and reviewed a lot of business drivers for that are beneficial or benefits of AMI. I guess until we're in that situation, we don't know exactly what those drought reporting requirements would be or exactly what those restrictions would be, but certainly AMI will be very beneficial and helpful at that time. So we kind of put that in the future category.
Yeah, just adding to that, Ben, some water agencies, like say during the last drought, imposed excessive water use penalties. And so what AMI can do is notify the customer that you are on track to potentially either, if you have tiered rates implemented during a drought or an excessive use penalty, you're on track on perhaps being subjected to that. We also have a water waste ordinance that the ACWD board adopted, and frequently AMI has the capability again of registering when you have an obvious leak condition, therefore notifying the customer and hopefully, avoid sort of these more draconian restrictions that you might be imposing, helping customers avoid penalties and things like that. I personally see AMI as a good tool to help manage water demand, especially during droughts.
And maybe if I could just add one more thing to that too, is that during the last drought, we were our service area was subjected to a certain percentage water reduction requirement by the state. And AMI would really help us to really understand where the water is going and help us to really target our efforts to try and support our customers in reducing their water usage to meet those targets. So really it's a tool that we would have to be able to support our customers' water conservation with or without a drought.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson. I'm not seeing any additional questions in the Q&A or the chat. Is there any closing comments? It looks like we're at 7 o'clock.
Any questions from the directors or comments that you would like to make?
I'll reserve comments for our board meeting in a different forum. I have some concerns, but we'll state them at a better time and place.
I'm just going to say thank you very much. Great presentation, staff. Good job. And thank you for answering the questions.
Well, same thing, staff. Nice presentation. I'm looking forward to the project and the installation.
Okay, with that, if there are no other questions from members of the public, then I defer to Vice President Weed as to whether you would like to adjourn the meeting.
Yes, unless there's other business before the group, I would suggest the meeting is now adjourned.
Okay, thank you very much. 7 p.m. Thank you, members of the public. We appreciate your attendance and your feedback today. Thank you, staff. I thought that was an excellent presentation as well. Thank you, directors. Your support is very important, especially on a huge project like this one is. And thank you, partners, as well, that are helping us implement the project here at ACWD.
Thank you. And once